This is the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast, where we discuss Miles Morales, the one and only Spider-Man. I'm Zach, and with me as always is Mr. O. How we doing, Mr. O?
I'm doing great to see you. I'm doing great just emotionally on a spiritual level. But with that being said, Zach, do you remember the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Mac comes in and says, I've got news, I've got terrible, terrible news?
Yeah, I think so. What is your terrible news,
Zach,
John?
I've got news. I've got terrible, terrible news.
I've never seen someone so giddy to give terrible news.
Well, I just like coming in and talking to you, I guess.
What's the news?
I bought tickets to that Foxy Shazam show.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing that could make it not work was if a postseason volleyball game got scheduled on that day. Even if it was the next day, I can cut my trip short. So what did I do? I emailed the CYO director. I was like, hey, I'm going to be out of town on this day. I don't have an assistant coach. I would just really like it if when the postseason is announced, if we weren't playing on this day. Now, longtime listeners might have beat me to the point of this story if you're really thinking about it. But of course, somehow the postseason tournament gets put out and all of the final four games will be on that day. So if the team were to make it to the final four, which knock on wood, we're pretty good. And I think it's only going to be an 8-team tournament, so we'd only have to win one game. I am going to have to miss the Foxy Shazam show. It bums me out to no end.
How much do you want to bet that person haphazardly read your email and they were like, got it, Mr. Opat needs it to be on that day?
I think there's a 0% chance of that, but the question I thought you were going to ask when you started that was, what do you think the chances are that the person did it on purpose? And I think it's a non-zero chance they did it because they don't like me.
This person doesn't like you?
I got into it a little bit with them last year about the postseason tournament and the way the seeding worked. And then, of course, when I figure out I have to reach back out to them because I need a favor, it's crossed my mind, it's crossed my mind.
Oh, geez.
Do I think that happened? No. But what are the chances? I don't know. It's crossed my mind. The bracket hasn't been announced yet. She let me know, she was like, hey, it looks like this is when the games are going to be, but it hasn't been fully announced. So when it gets fully announced, and especially as the day gets closer, I may try to do my own contacting here. But as it looks, and the tickets aren't refundable, but I'd rather go, of course, than, refund them. But
right. You can always sell them on the secondary market, though.
Yes, I can. And not that everything is the hardest thing ever, but unfortunately, I don't get the tickets till the 20th. It's not like how it was when we went. It's like a different policy for a different venue. So I won't actually get the tickets till the 20th. So it'll just make it a little harder to sell them. But
I'm pretty sure
yes,
that's actually done as a deterrent so that people can't scalp tickets.
It is. So I don't know. I'm going to look into the Foxy Shazam Reddit or something and see if I can reach out to people as it gets closer. If it does turn out, I will 100% have to miss. Bummer.
Damn, dude. I was actually just listening to Hail the Sun the other day, and I was like, do I want to take John up on that? Do I want to go to that show?
Well, nothing would make me happier than if the tickets did get used, because I'm worried that they're just going to end up going to waste because my buddy won't go without me for sure. So who knows? Maybe, you could get both tickets. You could take your own road trip.
I mean, we'll see. Is it bad that I'm just hoping you're able to use it, but then I'm like, no, that means his team sucked.
That is bad.
I mean, there's not really a win. It's the Parker dilemma.
It's a win-lose situation, because if we win with volleyball, I'll lose the tickets. Yes, it is a Peter Parker situation.
Yeah, the happiness spectrum of John.
Yeah. Well, the volleyball team, just because you asked or inferred if they were good or not, they're 5-0 right now, and our last game of the season is this upcoming Wednesday, and we play the other 5-0 team in our division. And this is the same school that knocked me and two of the boys that are on this current year's team out last year.
Ooh.
So I want it bad.
This is personal. You got to tell the kids, they drew first blood.
A lot of It's Always Sunny references in this episode.
Yeah.
Speaking of TV shows, we also, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of TV came back while we were gone.
Yes.
Daredevil,
I have not been able
Invincible,
to keep up with it.
Daredevil, Invincible, and The Boys.
Yep.
All back.
And not that you care about this, but Freerun came out with their second season, and Which Had Atelier debuted their first few episodes.
You're always talking about shows I've never even heard of,
They're
let
animes.
alone watched.
No, do not congratulate me. This is not cool, but there are fucking good shows that you should watch.
Okay.
Just saying.
I'll take that under consideration, just like I did when you recommended Foxy Shazam 2 years ago.
Right on. You hear it, folks. In 2 years, John Opat will be the biggest anime fan.
Yep.
I actually saw something today. If you plaster your car in anime stickers, cops are less likely to pull you over because, quote, they don't want to have that conversation.
About the anime shows?
I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah. What were you about to say?
I was just going to ask you what you had going on in your life.
We just got back from a trip from Boston and Providence, Rhode Island. That was kind of fun.
Why'd you guys go there?
Because we know someone who lives in Providence and works in Boston. And so it was one of those trips where it's like, we can just stay on your floor and
you don't have to pay for lodging.
Yeah. So it was good to see that friend again, and then also kind of like visit her side of the country.
What was your favorite thing to see while you were over there?
John, I'm glad you asked me, because do you remember how
Yes, it's a random building.
Funny, kind of. Not really.
Okay, what were you asking me?
Do you remember how I was getting super into Henry David Thoreau?
Yes.
Yeah. So
around my John Brown phase.
Yes. I kind of want to give you this Thoreau book because it talks about his relationship with Brown in it. And it's fascinating. They actually knew each other better than I expected them to have. Like John Brown came to his house and ate dinner with him and stuff like that. And he was probably the most ardent John Brown defender like in America.
Well, he wrote like a paper about it, I believe, when I think it's like a plea for John Brown or something when he was waiting to be executed.
John, he didn't just write that. He took it on tour to different cities, and he read it out loud to angry crowds that disagreed with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But so I made sure to take a day and visit Concord, which was where Thoreau was from, and really the whole Transcendentalist movement was from. So like Ralph Waldo Emerson.
What is Transcendentalist? Educate us.
It is the philosophy of like that generation of New England American writers and poets. And it kind of starts with Emerson telling people to live more like as individuals, that everyone has some inherent goodness in their spirit. And so you can just listen to yourself and like live true to you and like commune with nature. I'm not saying it how
No,
necessarily they would. They say
I
it way
understand.
much better and more clearly than I am saying. But
Way
it
much
started
better
this.
is really funny.
It's uh, those dumb dorks don't even think I'm smarterer.
No, I think I get what you're saying, and
Yeah, and it was just this like
I
hotbed
can
of
appreciate that.
literary and philosophical and like political activism and just all this like growth and development happened with this small like friend group hanging around Salem.
Yeah,
And they would basically write their own newspapers and pamphlets and give their own speeches and like self-publish their own books and hang out and have dinner parties. And all of their ideas were so radically progressively like ahead of their time. Like it was the 1830s and they had like women that were full members that were respected and listened to and would talk about like women's rights issues. And they were all super anti-slavery, and to the point where they actually hated at one point they all hated Abraham Lincoln because he was moving too slowly to emancipate the slaves. Like they wanted day one of his presidency, you go in and you like
stop the count.
what's up?
My headphones died.
Oh no.
I apologize. They hated Abraham Lincoln. He was moving too slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, these guys were just based and awesome, and I love
How
them.
old were all of they when this started?
I think they were kind of different ages. Like, I think Emerson was quite a bit older than Thoreau, and
That's
I don't know.
awesome. It was just a very eclectic group.
It was an eclectic group, yeah. And then there were people who like weren't members but heard about them and were like, "Oh, those guys are cool. I need to go hang out with them." And that was like Frederick Douglass and John Brown and Nathaniel Hawthorne. And so there was just always like important people popping into town to say what's up to the Transcendentalists. And
That
so
is cool.
It was a really historic town, and I visited Walden Pond where Thoreau.
Oh,
built
Walden.
his
That's a
cabin.
really famous thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. He lived on the shore of this pond in the woods for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, and wrote about his experiences.
Was that on purpose, all the twos?
Yes, actually, and his whole deal was he says I went into the woods to live purposely so that when I die, I might not wonder if I ever actually lived or something like that. And it's that's
yeah.
written on a plaque where his house was.
Why all the twos? Why 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days? I mean, was that?
I don't know.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's probably something scholars debate and discuss.
Did you see anything about the Salem witch trials? You mentioned you were in Salem.
Did I say Salem?
You did say Salem, I
Shit.
think.
I meant to say Concord,
Oh, okay. Concord.
Massachusetts.
There's a Concord, Massachusetts.
Yeah. And it was
Wow.
also the site of the first battle of the Revolutionary War. Lexington
And Concord.
Yeah. They have
Yeah.
a bridge where they're like, this is where the first shots were fired.
Oh, this is very cool.
It's where Paul Revere rode through. It's like the most historic town per
It's
capita.
where Paul Revere and William Dawes. Yes. Everybody knows Paul Revere, but riding right next to him, William Dawes.
Yeah.
That's something that the social studies teacher always has a question on the test when they take it over that chapter. Because she's like, no one knows who it is. So you guys will. And then they forget about it. Well, I'd really like to hear more about your trip and your favorite things that you saw if you don't think that it'll bore people. I have it on good authority, Zach, from Mandy, that she likes it when we just ramble on and don't talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I hope people like it. I think we've done it enough on this pod that we've really shot ourselves in the foot otherwise.
So, yeah, that's true. Okay, so tell me more about your favorite history things or just
Um,
buildings.
oh, dude, I was freaking out about all the buildings and all the history things. I saw like the Massachusetts, like their town city hall, or it's like the government building that's brutalist that everyone is like, oh my god, that's so ugly. I was a kid in a candy store walking around it.
The Boston City Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. I can see how maybe people would say like looks like a prison or something. Is that what people say?
Yeah, and I mean, it's around all these historic buildings, and so they're like, ooh, it's just a bunch of concrete and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I could look at this all day and be like interested. Look, that's the backside of stairs right there. How do you guys not appreciate that? But they don't. They're heathens.
I appreciate that.
You know the video of the Boston cop going down a slide and he like shoots out of it and skirts across the ground?
Yeah. Yes, I
That
do.
is right next to that building. I saw the cop slide and I thought about going down it, but there was a sign that said play area is for those 2 to 12. And it was a bunch of families and only young kids were on the playground equipment. And Alyssa was like, you cannot be the only adult who goes down that slide.
That's funny. So okay, here's my last question. Were there any other like Revolutionary War stuff things that you saw? I'm not sure about Massachusetts' role in everything.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was possibly the
That's
most
where the
important
Boston
state.
Tea Party happened.
Yes. It's where the Boston Tea Party happened. It's where the Boston Massacre happened. I saw that spot. Um,
How many people died in the Boston Massacre?
I don't know, man. Probably not actually that many.
You're right. It's only 5.
5. Okay.
I was kind of, yeah. What?
I was going to guess 13. Like, oh, one for each of the colonies. That's like some trivia shit that would happen.
No, I'm giving you a different trivia shit. It was
Okay, what's
5,
that?
and the term Boston Massacre was kind of like U.S. propaganda to stir up.
Oh, of
you know,
course it
feelings.
was.
And also, here's your real fun fact piece of trivia. The first person who died in the Boston Massacre, so he was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War. Do you remember who it was?
Crispus
Yes, Crispus Attucks. And there's a Crispus Attucks High School here in Indianapolis. And here's your next piece of trivia, Zach. Who's the famous person that went to Crispus Attucks High School?
Oh, shoot.
For a long time, he was the only player to ever average a triple-double.
I'm going to feel so stupid for not getting this. It's the guy that you used to like see playing basketball, right?
I don't think so. It's Oscar Robertson.
Oh, okay. Oscar
So
Robertson.
he was before.
Yeah, I lied about going to an event of his in college for credit. I was supposed to do it for extra credit for this PE class, and I didn't go. And I went up and I was like, "Oh yeah, I went to that thing." And they were like, "Who spoke?" And I was like, "Oh, the health guy." I had no idea.
But you got credit.
I was lying out my ass, and they were like, "What did he look like?" And I was like, "Oh, white,
Old man.
yeah." They're like, "No, it was Oscar Robertson." I was like, "Can I still please get the extra credit?"
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about your. I don't know. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to get in the issues? But I mean, this was a pretty good year for you and your colleges. I see you're wearing the IU
Yeah.
thing. They won the football championship, and then you got to witness, as a Michigan man living in Indianapolis, your Michigan Wolverines winning Final Four,
Go Blue.
March Madness.
The NCAA tournament.
How was that?
Well, in the Elite Eight, I was really pulling for Purdue, Indiana school, and they unfortunately lost. And then in the Final Four, as everybody knows, I'm also an Illinois boy, along with being a Michigan man. And
God, it must be great to be a fan of every sports team so you're never disappointed.
There's a lot of success. And Illinois, Mandy's family are from Champaign, Illinois, so they grew up around there. And her dad and her brother, when they were in the Final Four, they ended up getting tickets to the game. Well, sadly, Illinois didn't win, and the tickets generously were gifted to Mandy and I at the last second. So, we woke up not thinking we were going to be going to the championship game, and then, as the day progressed, it just turned out that we were going, and it was pretty fun. Michigan got the W for us.
That's awesome.
I'm not sure if you guys and the listeners know, but I have a custom Michigan jersey with my name on it that was gifted to me by my friend and doctor, Michigan man, John. Also John.
Yeah, that must be so awesome that the fourth team you would have been rooting for,
the one
makes it to the championship, and you're like, oh yes, I can use these tickets. And not only that, I don't even have to run to the store to get their merch real quick. I just have it in my closet.
I have two Michigan merches. I have a hoodie also. So I had both on, and I got to rock the hoodie to school. and I do love talking to the kids when I wear IU and then Illinois and then Michigan stuff all in succession, and they just can't handle it. It's good stuff. It's my favorite bit that I do.
It's a good bit. I think it's funny that you showed up at that game on a whim and probably looked like the most devoted Michigan fan. You were probably wearing more Michigan stuff than genuine Michigan grads were in that building.
Well, the guy sitting right next to me was a UConn fan. He was pretty big and into UConn. And I had to make friends with him, of course, and I don't really care who wins. I mean, I want Michigan to win, sort of. I'm in Michigan gear, but I want an underdog, and I want a close game too. So, and I talked to this UConn guy, and he and his family are there, and I'm like, oh, okay. Internally, I'm kind of rooting for UConn as the whole stadium around me is rooting for Michigan, and the guys behind me, like you said, they think I'm a huge Michigan fan. When a big play happens, they're putting their arms on my shoulder and everything, and I'm like, yeah, go blue. So it was just a fun game to watch. I would have liked if it was a little bit closer. I was telling Mandy, a perfect situation would have been UConn winning the whole game and then Michigan winning at the last second versus Michigan's up 10 the whole game. It's just, it was a little, boring.
The fates are so cruel that there's a guy, was he from Connecticut?
He and his whole family were from Connecticut. Yep.
They are so passionate. They flew to Indianapolis to catch this game. It means the world to him. Meanwhile, you live here, woke up that morning, found out you were going, and just put on a shirt that you happen to already have, but you don't care about the school. That is whenever you're in the depths of sports
total fandom.
That is what you convince yourself of. You're like, that other team doesn't even care half as much as I do.
Yeah. And in that case, that guy was right.
Yeah. How was the Chainsmokers halftime show? People online.
No, they didn't. The Chainsmokers weren't the halftime show. No, there was no halftime show.
That must have been off-site then.
It was really cool though. They honored the 70s. This is actually another hilarious just part of the trip is they honored the 1976 Hoosier undefeated basketball team because it's been 50 years since the last undefeated basketball team. So not that I really care about that either, but I am from IU. So I'm going to hoot and holler during this halftime show. So I'm standing up in full Michigan regalia as they announce these IU players just giving Hoosiers chants to an empty stadium of all Michigan fans. And
awesome.
they beat Michigan in that in that game. So, they're getting like booed semi. It was just pretty good stuff. I'm sure it was very confusing. Every time we'd pass an Illinois person or like a person at an Illinois thing, we'd give like an ILL, INI chant. We were having a lot of fun with it.
Oh my God. Every state, every big school has got their thing.
Yeah.
I just have drilled into my head from my mom's side of the family. OHIO. And
is that Ohio State?
Yes. Sometimes when I see people in public, I'll do the OH I'm just testing it. And every single time they enthusiastically yell IO.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm always giving out chants to people I see. In Michigan gear, I always give Go Blue. If I see like Michigan State, I give like a Go Green, and then they say Go White. That's the Michigan State chant. It's just fun, to be happy. That's some life advice.
That is good advice. I like that. That's very transcendentalist, and that's I think maybe a good place to put a pin in that. Yep. And then get into the comics.
It's been a long intro. Yes, let's get into the comics.
All right. But first, a word from our sponsor, Big Blue, Michigan State. Oh, fuck. Michigan University.
Every business says they're better. But the ones that earn and display the BBB seal back it up. It instantly identifies businesses that are committed to operating with integrity, honoring promises, and telling the truth. Makes you wonder why every business doesn't have it. So look for it, because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Wrong one.
Are we back?
We're back.
Zach, I just hate to break this to you. It's the University of Michigan. It's U of M.
U of M. Dude. How could I be so dumb?
That's okay.
All right.
As a Michigan man, I know that type of stuff, but you wouldn't be expected to.
Yes. Well, thank you for forgiving me and being so gracious. It must be awesome being welcome in every state.
Yep. Which one do you want to do here? You want to do 16.1?
I kind of liked 16.1.
Okay, and then I have 19, right?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Venom is back, baby.
Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man, .1, issue 16.1. John, and they say comics is hard to get into. Who didn't follow that?
I know I didn't.
Written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by David Marquez, colored by Justin Ponser, and lettered by VC's Corey Petit. And
there's something awfully welcoming about just seeing the same names every single week.
Yeah. It's nice to think of them as like maybe a functional work environment. Like, oh, do these guys like working together? Do they get along? Is Bendis like, hey, give me Marquez again. That guy draws well.
Probably. You're probably right. Here's something I just learned today about good working environments and people liking to work together. The new Foxy Shazam album is called Box of Magic because a cube has 6 sides, and there are 6 members of the Foxy Shazam band. So they are the Box of Magic.
Aw.
And, I've listened to that album a number of times, and a lot of it, the album is like heavy love, like feeling more than like I'd say their other ones. And I think that's cute that it's like about them also, not just like relationship love,
Yeah. I think that would hit me in the feels a lot more if like half of those guys weren't really new to the band. Like if it was still the original lineup that I used to see, I'd be like, that's so great. But I'm like, at least 3 of you guys, I'm sure you're very nice people, but like you just got here.
I guess I didn't realize that. And also, who knows how much truth is in that. I did read it, but I didn't like fact check it.
Oh yeah. They're always also making up lies about themselves, which is kind of fun.
That's a great bit.
It's really funny trying to parse out what is true and what is fictional with Foxy Shazam. Like Eric will say outrageous, like Hunter S. Thompson-esque stories about his life and his past. And if you listen to enough of them, they start to contradict each other very heavily.
Oh, see, one of the things I've heard him say is that Foxy Shazam was named because when he like grew up, they'd say like, that's cool shoes. You got some Foxy Shazams. And now I'm wondering if that was just like a lie.
100%. He's like given other explanations for what the band name means.
That's really funny.
Yeah. It's almost like every time people ask, he has a different answer.
Is the keyboard an original guy?
So I don't know if he was like original,
but he's been there for a while.
Oh yeah. Like as long as they've sounded like that.
Okay. Has the drummer been there for a while?
The drummer is new.
Has the trumpet player been there for a while?
The trumpet player's been there as long as the keyboard guy.
See, the drummer thing surprises me because I'm pretty sure that they said the drummer was the one who wrote the song The Only Way to My Heart. And that was on the album that came out in like 2011.
Maybe he was working
but it
with
could
them,
have been
or
a
was
lie.
Ghostwriter.
But it could have been a lie. Okay, sorry, I got us off track already.
I mean, I could see a situation where maybe he was like the producer of that song or something, and then later they were like, actually, you're a good drummer too. Do you just want to join the band? I don't know.
Okay, and I could also be misremembering from the show.
Sure, it could have been a more recent song that he wrote. Huh.
Is this a Foxy Shazam podcast?
I was just about to say, I could keep talking about Foxy Shazam if you wanted to.
We should get into it. We should get to page 1.
Okay, page 1. This is kind of a flashback of Miles's fatal fight with Uncle Aaron. And we see that it's a video of it being replayed, and a woman is watching it really intently, and she's like pausing and going back, and she's changing the volume, and she's like, what did he say? And she's listening to You Are Just Like Me. And you can kind of see Miles's nose and lips under his mask. And she's trying to figure out who this new Spider-Man is. And in the next scene at the Daily Bugle's office, interesting that it doesn't say dailybugle.net. Did you catch that? At some point, they went back to being a newspaper company instead of like solely online news.
I didn't catch that, but I do like it. It does seem like a more news environment than just like an internet blog.
And this looks like their old offices.
And you know what? I bet it is, because later in this issue, doesn't J. Jonah Jameson like look out the same window and get like a flashback to Ultimatum?
He definitely gets a flashback. I'm not sure if it's the exact same window, but that is a good thing that we'll have to be looking out for.
Yeah.
So they're in a meeting. It's Jonah and Robbie leading a meeting with all the writers, and they're talking about the stories they're going to run. And I thought these stories, like the little throwaway ones that don't matter for the issue, were still pretty interesting. He said, according to my sources, Stark Enterprises will profit from the latest war to the tune of $19 billion. So you're saying Stark started a war to make some money? No, I'm saying that Stark Enterprises is about to make a profit of $19 billion, and I think that deserves further investigation. It's like, that is an interesting tidbit to throw in there, like kind of implying that Tony Stark in this universe is like war profiteering, which of course he is.
I think they had even talked about that because he was like in that group as they were doing horrible things, and they're like, you just made a ton of money, you know, and he's always watching his stocks, and like Stark Industries, the only one that's going up.
It is interesting where this story gets political and where it doesn't get political, because I think in a lot of ways it does kind of give Tony like a little bit of amnesty for all the harm he does the world as a capitalist. And then another person says the New York Times ran a poll that said 46% of the country still doesn't believe the person who is saying he is Captain America is the original Captain America. And someone's like, who do they think he is? He says a propaganda tool.
Jinx, buy me a Coke.
That's interesting. If 46% of the country doesn't think he's really
that seems
who he
high.
Is, but he just won the presidency.
And I would think a much higher number than 54% would believe that Captain America is the original Captain America. It's not like he just came out of nowhere. Like, he's been Captain America-ing for a while, you know. You'd think it'd be very public and known information about how he was frozen and how he was defrosted. You know, 46% seems high.
Yeah. But I also don't know if it was intended as like a jab maybe at the New York Times, because they said the New York Times is reporting this. So I don't know if the joke is like,
it's that liberal media.
if it's coming from a source, you know, we don't really like the source, but if we can run with it, we can run with it. But I don't know that number's right, but someone else has already published it, so we can just quote their word.
Okay.
And Betty Brant raises her finger and is like, I have something on the new Spider-Man. And at this point, this is going to be a Betty Brant issue, which I was really happy about, because one thing that I actually didn't like about Peter's issues, I felt like Bendis did such a good job at adapting and modernizing and using so many characters from the original Spider-Man comics. And the one that he just never found any use for, and when she did appear, it was like never flattering, was Betty Brant. And so the fact that this is like a Betty Brant focused issue, I think makes good on the fact that he's ignored her now for like 10 years at this point in the book.
Would that change if you didn't like the way that she is characterized and everything?
In some ways, I don't like the way that she's characterized, but she at least has agency.
Okay.
She's not.
I was going to say, this episode doesn't feel very flattering either. Not to spoil too much.
I would rather her be an interesting character who gets a story and who you can kind of see she is smart in this. I mean, to her credit, she figures it out and sees the clues that is hiding in plain sight for everyone else.
Yeah.
Up to this point, all we've gotten is she's the bad reporter who sleeps around with her assignments. And that feels very mean. That feels like a very one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
So she's breaking down the footage and she's like, look, he looks like he's, you know, a black kid, she doesn't say kid. She says, it looks like he's African-American, and the Prowler said to him, you're just like me. I think they're family. I think they know each other. And Robbie's like, hold on, not all black people are related. And she's like, I know that, but I'm saying it because they keep appearing in the same places. They seem to be working together. They seem to be familiar with each other. And Ben Urich doesn't want her to follow it, and neither does Jonah, which is interesting because these are the two people who were closest to both Peter Parker and Spider-Man in their jobs. And so Jonah kind of says, I'm not going to run with this. You need to actually, bring me a story. And so she starts going around town to her contacts, and she ends up at the police station and is trying to talk to a cop to see if she can get her hands on the Prowler file. And we get the great gag that happens every time we're in the police station where they're carrying in some lunatic in a costume who's yelling about something. And you see who this one is?
Wow, you're right. I didn't even notice. No, who is this one?
I think that's Rocket Raccoon. I think in this universe,
oh,
Rocket
you're
Raccoon
right. You're definitely right.
It's just a person in a fursuit.
That's funny.
And he says, I was guarding her. That's all I was doing. So I don't know what the story is there. The joke is that we never know what the story is there. There's just always wacky shit happening on every street corner in the Ultimate Universe.
Which makes sense why the cops wouldn't like Spider-Man, because there's like a million crazy people with a mask.
They're dealing with these guys all day.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder if that means that they shoot most of them.
Because most of them can't dodge out of the way.
Yeah. If they take their first approach that they always take with Spider-Man to the guy in a fursuit. That would be some pretty bad PR for the police force. And so she figures out from the cop where Uncle Aaron had been living, and she goes to visit his apartment, and the guy who's like renting it out lets her in. He's like, yeah, it's the strangest thing. One day the guy's here, the next day he moves out. He was 3 months ahead of rent. What are you going to do? And she's like, okay, I will rent the place. And he leaves. He says, I'll go get the paperwork. I'll be right back. And she starts doing some detective work, and she is smart. She is a good detective. What I insinuated earlier, like she's a good reporter, are just that, we're going to find out her motives aren't that great, but I do remember, and up until this point reading it, I was a fan of this woman. I was like, wow, she's, she found out who Spider-Man is or she's going to find out just based on like that video. And, she does a good job searching the apartment too. I don't think her motives are like evil though. They're just normal, real people.
We'll see. We'll get in. I'll try and be more patient, and we can get into the text when it comes up.
Okay. I definitely wouldn't say she's like a criminal character. Like she's not the villain. She's maybe the antagonist from a certain perspective of the story.
I don't even know if antagonist, but we'll get,
Yeah.
Right now she's the protagonist of the story.
That's true. I really like this like 2-page spread of her searching the house, and the very like center panels are like the floor plan of the house, and it shows her standing in different places, and it's like you can follow it with your eyes. You kind of get a feel for like the passage of time as she's like walking around this apartment, and then it's bordered on all sides by like close-ups of what she's actually seeing as she walks around. It's really well done.
That is really well done. My initial thought when I saw this, and when I look at it again, and you can tell me if you think this means anything, but I think that middle section is meant to look like a prison cell.
It kind of does. I didn't think about that.
So I wonder what this is saying about either her in a prison cell, or like Uncle Aaron living in a prison cell, or it's just nothing at all.
It could be nothing at all. I don't know.
It could be.
I looked at it as someone who is starting architecture school here in a couple of months, and I'm like, damn, I can't sketch a room this good. I'm definitely going to flunk out. What the fuck am I doing?
Yes, this master of his craft and guy who's made a million comics, you can't put together a room as well as him. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be sarcastic because, go easy on yourself.
Right.
You'll
Thank
get
you.
there.
And she at some point like sees a loose tile on the ground and moves it, and there's the 42 spider that bit Miles is like under the cement. Like it cracked the cement and also died down there somehow.
So I was going to ask you what you thought happened here. Because she wouldn't just randomly guess the tile that the spider happens to be going under. And that's what I came to the conclusion also was the spider must have done something to not only go under the tile, but to also make it noticeable for her to pick up that tile.
Yeah, there's one really small panel here where she's standing in the kitchen and from the other side, oh shit, she can see the floor is kind of lifted. So it's almost like,
yep.
It's almost like either the spider went down there to die and like crawled its way under the ground.
Or maybe it was already up and that's why the spider was able to get under it. Or wait, is that what you just said?
I don't know. It kind of looks like the spider actually cracked the cement and like made itself a little tomb or was living under there. It's making me
right. I think this is just a super strong. I think this spider somehow had some super strength powers.
It's not just
burrowed under it
that it gives powers. These are strong ass spiders.
Yeah.
That's almost worse than Norman Osborn trying to make super people. That's the idea of
super spiders.
Dude, you just made an army of spiders that can kick our asses. She says gonna vomit, and she picks it up with a pen, and she sees the 42 on the back, and so we know for damn sure, yeah, this is the one that bit Miles. The landlord comes back into the room, and she's already gone. She didn't actually want to rent the apartment, so she just dipped. And then we see her standing outside of Roxxon Industries, and she's meeting someone there, like a scientist that she knows. Apparently, it seems like she stood him up for a date or something, and he says, go to hell. But she's like, wait, I've got something I need to ask you about. And she shows him the spider. She has it in a little shoebox. And he's like, where did you get this? And he throws her against the car. He's really reacting to this.
I don't think he stood her up for a date. I think this is a pure reporter trying to get a story. And that's what she means when she says, like, you didn't call me back. Like, I think she was looking for something or, like, trying to get something from him. Not like... Oh,
I think you're right.
But maybe...
No, I was getting domestic abuse vibes when I saw him throw her against the car, but I'm realizing now you're reading the scene right. He's like, where'd you get this spider? And she said, I found it. And he's like, was it dead when you found it? And she's like, it looks like it's been dead for a long time. And he says, look at that. It calcified. And she's like, you've seen this before? And he says, this was part of the project I was working on at Oscorp a while ago. And she's asking him more about it. And he's like, I don't want my name attached to this, but do you remember Spider-Man, the original one? Well, Peter Parker was bit by one of these, and Norman Osborn tried to recreate it. And he says this was test subject 42. So they kind of come to the understanding that this spider bit whoever is the new Spider-Man and gave him the powers. And she's convinced that that's someone who's close to Aaron Davis. And so she walks away, and later that night in Brooklyn, we see her staking out Miles and his parents' house. And she catches a lock on Jefferson Davis, and she says, "Gotcha. Well, I just became a very rich woman."
Now, at the start of this scene, the family's just coming back from a movie, and Miles says that movie was the worst. And his dad says, it was a masterpiece. When you get older, you'll see that. What movie do we think it was? I'll look at that. What year did this comic book come out, do you think?
Probably 2013.
Okay, so 2013 best movies of the year.
Moonlight.
It could be Moonlight, Frozen, Iron Man 3, Gravity. Oh, maybe it was Gravity. That's one a kid wouldn't like, but an adult would. Okay, so here's our first look at Betty Brant's motive. She said, I just became a very rich woman. I don't like that that's her first instinct when she finds out who Spider-Man is.
Right. It's not a motive that I like, but it's also like, it's understandable. You know, a lot of people would have that mindset. In fact,
it would be my very first thought too. I just wouldn't say it out loud.
Yeah. Like she does.
I'd be like, sweet, this is such a payday.
And then we get J. Jonah Jameson saying, "You don't say." And we cut to her in his office, and she says, "I know who the new Spider-Man is. I have physical evidence. I have proof. It's a great story. And right now, I want you and I to work out our financial differences." And he goes, "We have financial differences?" And she says, "I don't like how much I make. I don't like that I'm treated like a lesser reporter because of past indiscretions. And I would like to rectify all of this in exchange for this worldwide exclusive." And she gives him her notes. And Jonah just kind of casually says, "I'm not going to run this." And she's like, "What? It's gold." And he goes, "It's not a story. Words mean something, Brant."
Well, her story is also that Aaron Davis is Spider-Man. I'm sorry, Jefferson Davis is Spider-Man. And he and the Prowler had a team up, and then there was a falling out, and now one is dead. So here's the other thing. She's also wrong. So she was, for a while, being a very good reporter and, investigator. But now she is totally clouded by the dollar signs.
I wonder how she could possibly look at the build of the new Spider-Man and think, yeah, it's that grown man, not the kid standing next to him.
Yes, I had that thought too. I'm like, Spider-Man doesn't look like a grown man. It's the mask.
Jonah says, "You put this out there, you expose Spider-Man, and then what? Then the city has one less hero, and this family's life is ruined. The world will not be better. Justice will not have been done. You're just burying someone so you can, your words, make money." And he says, "Everything that you've been through in your life, have you learned nothing? That makes you a fool." And she's like, "You're not going to run this story? Well, I'll find someone who will." And he says, "I'm sure you will." And she storms out.
I really like this new J. Jonah Jameson.
I do too.
I like his little speech when he tells her off. And specifically when he's like chewing her out for why she wants to do it, and he says, "Your words make money." I'm like, yeah, get her.
And he's really fighting with himself. Like, this is the ghost of Jonah future arguing with the ghost of Jonah past. Because for his entire publication history, he was that guy who would slander anyone to make a buck. And now he's like, I can't live like that anymore, and you shouldn't either.
Yep. He's trying to help her out.
He's trying to atone too.
Yep.
Like, it's clear he feels guilty for how he treated Peter. And she walks home that night and she's talking on the phone with someone, and she's like, "Oh, I can be on Letterman? That's great. If that can happen, I'll marry you. All right, you got my number. Bye." And she starts to, it looks like she's bringing in some groceries or something, and she sets something down, and a voice says off panel, it's a creepy fucked up voice with like black background and white text. It says, "Trying to profit off of things that don't belong to you." And she freaks out. She's like, "Oh my God, take whatever you want." And then she gets stabbed through the chest and killed. And we see Venom standing over her body. And he says, "You really shouldn't do that."
First instinct, I thought J. Jonah Jameson might be Venom. And but I can't see him doing this, you know? But who else knows that what she's trying to do? The doctor that she saw, J. Jonah Jameson, and this guy that she just called.
Yeah. Yeah, there is that mystery aspect to it. But also, I don't know. How did you feel about her by the end of that story?
I was kind of thinking that she might die, only because I know that Miles's identity is not going to get revealed. I can't imagine a story would come out where his dad is like Spider-Man. Now, I guess, who knows? Maybe there was a chance of that, since he did just like be the hero that defeated the other guys. So I don't know. There was, when she started talking on the phone to the other guy, you know, it was kind of striking me as one of those scenes in a movie where you can just tell that like something's about to happen to the character, you know, like the camera is a little too far away or something. You can see a little too much of just everything. And it felt like something was about to happen. And I was like, well, this is probably how they'll tie that up. And then she died. And I was like, oh, that's why the story never gets run, you know, because she kind of had it figured out. Miles's identity was going to get revealed through this path, if she published her story.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like using her instead of another reporter, like a male reporter, obviously she's an established character, but if you wanted to, you could have had Ben Urich do this.
But we don't want to kill Ben Urich.
We don't want to kill Ben Urich, but it feels a little bit like she comes across really bad in this, and I'm wondering if she would if she was a male character. And so I want to give her a little bit of grace and say, like, there's nothing wrong with like being ambitious in your career. And
well, she comes across as Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3.
But she makes a comment to Jonah where she's like, "I don't want to be treated anymore like I'm just some hussy that, you know, ruins things," and whatever she says. Like,
that's what she's doing. She's got the wrong story.
I don't know. I feel like she's trying to overcome, you know, what's happened in the past. And
I feel like maybe she's not that good of a reporter. Like maybe she is actually just unethical.
I think she's a Slytherin, right? This comes to like, is there something inherently wrong with being a Slytherin? Are they always bad, or are they just
Slytherins?
Are they prone to being too ambitious, taking it too far, being too cutthroat?
I don't know. I guess I hadn't really thought about it all that much, but But after you talking about her past stuff and now this, it does seem like, she was the right person for this episode, for this issue, because her history is she is kind of unethical and she is not doing she started off doing a good job, but then by the end of this issue, she doesn't have the right story. She's making up her own story and she just wants to sell it for as much money as possible.
Yeah. But this is what we saw Jonah do at a higher level of power for 100 issues, and the gravity of the story never dictated that he needs to die for it.
He's got a paper to run. Yeah, you're right. You are right. If Spider-Man was a villain like Venom was, then J. Jonah Jameson would probably be dead with all the lies that he was telling about him.
Yes. And as far as she knows, this new Spider-Man isn't necessarily a hero. Like, they just live in a New York where there's crazy people dressed up as Rocket Raccoon getting arrested every day. Yeah. They don't.
And she did think he was like working with the Prowler.
Yes. They don't have a reason to give most of these, masked people the benefit of the doubt, unless they're like the Ultimates and they know who they are. Of course, they're going to be like a little bit uneasy about who's this new person who's always around the Prowler.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think she's like heroic, but I think she's sympathetic in this issue and she has her own agency.
I agree with that. I certainly did not think she deserved to die for anything. Like, when she died, I was kind of like, oh, we had Betty Brant for one issue, It feels like we brought her back just to kill her.
Have you ever heard people talk about like how evil the end of the first Toy Story movie is?
No.
Like, they fucking torment Sid and probably do permanent psychological damage to this kid because he was breaking his toys. And it's like, how the hell was he supposed to know you guys were alive?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be. It's like the punishment just does not fit the crime because she doesn't think she's really doing anything that bad.
Yeah, and then a monster we haven't seen in 200 issues came back and killed her.
Yeah. It is interesting. Every time we think we've seen the last of Venom, you haven't. You can't get rid of him. That dude keeps coming back.
What are we rating this one?
I'm going to give it a actually, let me put it this way. Where are we running this story in the Daily Bugle? Is it front page main headline?
Betty Brant was murdered? That story?
No, just the story of the issue.
Oh, okay. Where would this issue run? Is this a front page story or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say current events, page 3.
I actually like this issue a lot. I liked both of the ones that we read quite a bit. So I'm gonna say that this is on the front page getting continued on like page 5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that. It's not the big headline. Like, the big headline is probably something about, President Captain America riding a flying motorcycle.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a blurb that you see, and it's like, reporter killed while investigating new Spider-Man.
Yep.
Have to check that out later.
Okay, on to the next one.
Yep.
So wait, did you like it or not?
I did.
Okay.
I did like this issue.
Okay.
It's always fun to get a little bottle issue that focuses on a character that we never spend time with.
Well, you know that I love J. Jonah Jameson, so we got quite a bit of him, and I'm happy about that.
And both of these issues are really good showings for him.
Yep. So we are now in, we go from Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man 16.1 to Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man 19. And it's titled The Venom War. Written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by Sarah Pacelli, colored by Justin Ponzer, lettered by VC's Corey Petit. And Miles is swinging through the city. He's getting the hang of his new ropes. If you remember, he just got the webs from... Did he get these from Aunt May? I guess I don't remember.
He did get them from Aunt May.
I thought so. And he's like, I don't know how Peter did this. This is harder than it looks. You know, I've got to think like 5 moves ahead. And as he's thinking this, he runs out of web fluid and falls onto a light post in front of a bunch of New Yorkers who start flashing pictures at him, and he climbs up the wall to get away. This is just the day in the life of Spider-Man.
Running out of webs.
Yeah, and a lot of people have pictures of him. You know, if this happens a lot, I've often thought this, but Spider-Man in New York City, it would be really hard to keep your identity a secret. With all of the cameras and, you know, no matter where you go, anytime I see the movie or anytime in this where they get up on a tall building and then take their mask off and observe the city, I'm just like, you're caught.
Yeah.
You're on camera.
In modern times, certainly.
Yes.
When the character was created, I think you could probably get away with anything.
Definitely. Yeah, of course.
Except, ironically, swinging. I've thought about this before. I've looked at pictures of, like, New York in 1962, and I'm like, what a weird idea that Steve Ditko would be like, and he shoots webs, and he just swings from one skyscraper to the next. And it's like, you look out the window, and it's like, all right, man, there's the Empire State Building, and then fucking suburbs around it.
Because when this was created, New York City wasn't full of skyscrapers.
It was not nearly as tall as it is right now.
Interesting. That was something that I had always thought of because I'm like, well, Spider-Man makes sense in New York because the skyscrapers.
He makes sense in like certain areas of New York. Midtown, he can cover all of Midtown. Downtown, yes, probably. Everything in between doesn't have skyscrapers, but it has enough buildings that are like 5 stories, 6 stories, 10 stories. I can buy it. But then like the idea that he lives in the suburbs, that he would be from Queens and he would just swing all the way into the city. No, dude, that looks like the suburbs.
So Miles, he's back at school the next day, and this is Genki's name. Did you notice that they mentioned Ned Leeds in the last issue?
Oh yeah, they did.
He's the guy that Betty Brant was going to sell the story to.
He's also the guy that she marries in 616.
And you know what? He's a villain. I've heard before that Ned turns into the Hobgoblin. This could be our Venom.
That is a thing that happens.
This could be our Venom.
Ever met Ned Leeds in the Ultimate Universe? Have we?
I don't think so.
Huh.
So Ned and Genki are talking while the teacher's talking, and you know they're texting on their phones to each other. And he's like, "I'm out of web fluids," and Genki's like, "I got this. Don't worry." And
I'm sorry, John. They're not texting on their phones. They're like writing on their phones and then holding up the entire phone screen to show the other one. And there's a good reason why they're doing that instead of just sending the text. Do you see what's happening here?
What's happening?
This is a parallel to a scene that we got with Peter and Mary Jane that was written probably 10 years earlier.
When they were writing on the paper.
Kids didn't always have smartphones in the classrooms.
Wow.
So they had to do notes. And you lift the notebook and you show them what's on your paper and they write something on theirs. This is that exact scene, but for a different generation
Wow.
of kids.
Good
and
catch.
to show us that they're having them like almost like you're editing a picture on Snapchat or something, and they just blow the text way up and hold the phone out to each other. And I think the teacher is kind of doing something also. Do you remember they had Peter's teacher doing like the Bueller, like he's doing the actual monologue that the Ferris Bueller teacher does about like the Great Depression or something.
Yes. And this teacher is kind of like talking to himself.
He's like, anyone nocturnal. That's right. Its diet consists mainly of what? Anyone?
That's funny.
Yeah. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. And speaking of stuff like that, a nice girl seems to notice Miles in the back. She's kind of looking at him with a smile on her, and she even gets her own little drawing of just her, just to make sure that we realize that this girl was looking at him in the background and smiling. So there's a new love interest in the Spider-Man story.
Makes sense. Around this time in the Peter
hormones
series,
are going crazy.
We had to introduce another cool alt chick.
Yep. So on the next page, we turn the page and we're outside of this big place that says OI. And I knew that this was Oscorp, but I could not remember for sure. And I was like, OI, what does this stand for, Zach? I just couldn't remember. I was racking my brain trying to think of it. I have remembered at this point. It's Oscorp Industries, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Zach, I couldn't remember. I wanted to know. I knew it was Oscorp, but I wanted to be certain. So I took a picture of it. I sent it to Google reverse image because I was hoping it'd be like, this is from this place, whatever, you know. And here's why I hate AI. This is by the point of my story. Because the nerve of AI to come back with an answer when I didn't even ask it. I just put it into the reverse image search to give me results, and it came up answering my question. And it said, this panel is from, and then it gave me a comic book and a series that is not the one we're reading, and it's not the same picture. And my problem is not that it tried its best, but that it was so certain in its answer, and it was so wrong. It should really be programmed to say things like, oh, you know, I can't quite tell, but it looks like, but that's a microcosm. Is that the word? This is a microcosm of why AI is a bad thing and kids are getting stupider, because it just tells them what it is. And it's like, this is what it is. And it's wrong.
It confidently takes guesses.
Yes. I'm upset about it. I've been upset about it since it happened, which was like 2.5 days ago.
Yeah,
so,
it's the worst.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So, and then I had it paint me a picture in the style of your guy.
What?
Do you remember you got on AI like a year ago about that because you saw art in the style of
Hayao Miyazaki?
Maybe. What's it called? Does he have a certain
like
thing?
Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, dude, you son of a bitch. Don't use that stuff.
I don't. Of course I don't.
It's soulless, man.
No,
It'll take
joking.
your soul.
I was just joking.
Okay.
I hate AI. Haven't you been listening?
I know, but do you hate it enough?
Yes.
So I've been saying, dude, when they come to my town to build a data center, I am going to be the next John Brown.
Well, on the way,
you're going to read about me in the news.
on the way from here to Champaign, Meta is building a data center, and it's an insanely long stretch of land that looks very dystopian. And it's like not even going to gain jobs, which I'm sure is what one of the selling points is, because more farmers and people out there are losing their jobs than the data center is going to employ, because it's just a data center, you know? It's all a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah. As long as the big numbers keep getting bigger.
Exactly. It's these companies like Stark Industries and Facebook and Oscorp that are just running this country into the ground.
Have we talked on this pod before about whether or not like Tony Stark would have been on Epstein Island and Norman Osborn would have been on Epstein Island?
Yes, I think that we have. And if I remember correctly, yeah, go on.
All of those guys would be there.
Yes, that's what I remembered the conversation going like. And I remembered me not liking to think about Iron Man being on Epstein Island. So I was like, no.
But he would. He just gained $19 million from a war, dude.
I mean, maybe. You know, there's like an interview with Joe Rogan who believes everything anybody tells him. And he got invited to like hang out with Epstein and like do stuff with Epstein. And he's in the files for like turning it down. And he's given interviews about it. And he's like, yeah, I Googled him for like 10 seconds and saw the past child, pedophilia stuff. And I was like, no, I'm not going to hang out with that guy. So it's not like you had to be the smartest person. That's why it's totally nonsense. Anyone who's like, oh, I was there, but I didn't know anything. It's total. Joe Rogan figured it out with a 10-second Google search, So who knows? Tony Stark might not want to be associated with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're like, he was there.
He's a billionaire.
Okay, so we're at Oscorp Industries, and this giant creature has smashed his way out of the building as it explodes in the background. And we know from the last Betty Brant episode that this is probably Venom. And then right on cue, we get a big full-page panel of Venom looking awfully ferocious, walking away from an explosion.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Yep. What movie was I watching where I thought that was like, I don't think that they've ever done this before. And I think it was the very first Cool Guys Walk Away from Explosions movie. Was it maybe X-Men Origins Wolverine?
That's definitely not the first.
Okay.
In the other guys, they do the opposite of that, and something blows up, and they're like rolling around on the ground, and they're like, it burst my fucking eardrum.
That's right. So, Genki and Miles are trying to figure out the web fluid, and Genki is like, I think I got this. I got all the stuff I need from it. Now all I just need is to find out how to, figure out this web fluid formula. And I got to tell you, I would not know the first thing about deciphering that piece of paper and all the math that's on it. And more than that, I don't know how math turns into other things. Like, I don't understand using math to like build buildings or do science. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's the part I'm scared of, because every time I look at like a great modern building, I'm like, holy shit, I want to build one of those. And then I look into it for 2 seconds and it's like, oh, this was created using a parabolic formula. I'm like,
it's
nope.
Like, uh-oh.
I'm more of a pen and paper guy myself.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that's what the architect is, right? And the engineer is the one that has to figure out how to do it.
Right, but the problem is there's some starchitects out there who are also engineers. So, like, if you want to build like Zaha Hadid or Santiago Calatrava, you have to be like a math whiz as well as a creative mind, and there's just not people like that, in great number.
I guess that's why those are the famous guys.
Yes, I'm gonna be the guy that makes like really pretty park benches. That's what I aspire to.
Dude, that's a good aspiration. I'll sit my ass on those.
Yeah.
Well, you also have to be a math whiz to do the web fluid formula. And poor Genki he was saving up to buy a Lego Death Star, and he sold all of it so he could buy all the stuff for the web fluid formula. And he says, let's just say this is going to be just as hard as putting together the limited edition Death Star Lego, but by the end of it, we'll have something substantially more cool. So that's a good way to look at it.
This was great characterization for Genki. It makes him look like such a good friend, and also like this is a fun little challenge for them. And it's using the only thing we really know about Genki to his like growth, which is, he likes Legos a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. And now we're back at the Daily Bugle, which I guess this answers our question, Zach, because this does say thedailybugle.com on the building. And you would probably know, but is that the original building? It kind of looks too small. It just is surrounded by skyscrapers. It meant looks... to illustrate how it's fallen.
Yeah, I do think this looks closer to the original building than like what Peter went to towards the end of his life, because that had more of the feel of like a very open concept, like modern office. Like it felt like there would be people scootering around and like walking their dogs and shit. And this is more traditional and stuffy.
Okay. Well, I guess I stand corrected. I guess it is the original building. And J. Jonah Jameson sitting at his desk, and Detective Maria Hill shows up. And here's an interesting thing for you. I'm fairly confident that when the Avengers came out, Maria Hill was an original character for the Avengers, Robin Scherbatsky.
I don't think she was, but I think Phil Coulson was.
But I'm saying it with confidence, like AI would.
Like AI, yeah. That is, yeah. Dude, you're so right.
Now I have to look up with this. I'm gonna say was. I think you're definitely right about Phil Coulson. Was Maria Hill an original character? No. She was created by Brian Michael Bendis. So there you go. That's why you got to look things up.
I didn't know that he created her, though.
Neither did I.
That is pretty cool. And here he is using her again in the Ultimate Universe.
Yep.
Dude, he knew something. He had some secret sauce. He was like, I'm going to create original characters in the main universe, and then I'm going to reference them in the side universe that I'm also creating.
And they got put into like the movie universe. Like, what a glow up this character has had.
He is like manufacturing the amount of like appearances these people get, because he did the same thing with Jessica Drew.
Yeah, so he can choose if they're Jessica a big Jones. Character or not.
Yes, like there's no shortage of well, I guess Jessica Jones isn't a detective in this. She's like a high school student, but
oh, did he create Kilgrave?
He did not create Kilgrave.
Okay, created by Stan Lee. Okay. So, we're at the Daily
and
Bugle.
Patsy Walker. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Patsy Walker is actually one of the oldest characters in Marvel history. Oh, really? Did you know that?
I didn't.
She was originally like a model. She had like a teen, they did like teen romance books in the 50s. Those sold better than superhero books. So she's one of the characters that actually predates like the Fantastic Four and the company being called Marvel.
Wow. That's a really fun fact.
Yeah.
Who are the other ones? Isn't it? It's her.
Millie, the teenage model, who would hang out with Patsy Walker.
Wasn't aren't there like heroes that predate Marvel? There's C
three.
guy,
Namor,
yeah,
Captain America, and kind of the Human Torch. But the first one was an android.
Okay. All right, so we're at the dailybugle.com. Maria Hill walks in. She's a detective. And obviously she's here to ask about Betty Brant. And Jonah's right-hand man, I don't remember his name.
Robbie,
yeah. Robbie's like, you should wait for your lawyer, and Jameson says, I'm not guilty of anything. Guilty people need their lawyers. I want to be helpful any way that I can. And basically, he gives her, most of the full story. He's like, she said she knew who Spider-Man is. I said, I don't really care about running the story. And there wasn't much more than that. But she did tell him who the new Spider-Man is. He said no.
Yeah, he does lie about... He says he's not going to lie to the police. He has nothing to hide. But then the one thing he does lie about here is he's like, I don't know who the new Spider-Man is. I never asked. But she did tell him before she died.
He says she wanted a great deal of money for that information. I rejected the offer. And she says, Maria Hill asks why, and he says, because I don't care who the new Spider-Man is. And then we get a good little J. Jonah Jameson speech as he reflects on that ultimatum day where he saw Peter saving somebody out his window. And he says, because I learned a lot from Peter Parker. I learned a hero should be left to be a hero. I published a story saying who the new Spider-Man is. Yes, I'll sell a lot of papers, but then this new Spider-Man would have to stop being Spider-Man. And all of the good things he would do, whatever they would be, would never happen. And Maria Hill is like, well, somebody was going to publish it. And Robbie says, except someone got to her before she could. And J. Jonah Jameson's eyes light up. And he says, yes, that's true, isn't it? They don't light up, but they widen like he's...
Oh, he's got glowing eyes
like he's
now.
Recognizing something.
Like he's got powers.
Yeah, like Venom powers. And Maria Hill says, yes, it looks like she was going to sell a book to another publisher, so I need to talk to Ned Leeds. And J. Jonah Jameson says, well, that's disappointing to hear, talking about how Ned was going to buy the story from her. And Maria Hill does ask, the businessman question and says, if you knew that she was just going to walk out of here and sell it, why wouldn't you just buy it in the first place? It was going to get published anyways. And Jameson says, because it took almost a year after Parker's death, but I just started sleeping well again. I'd like to continue doing that. And then he tells Robbie to help Maria Hill get any information that she needs.
And he's looking out his window and touching the glass. I'm trying to flip between here and see if the buildings around it match. I think this is supposed to be a different building, which makes sense. It looks like or at least he's not at the same window. But
okay, yeah.
But it is a very nice touch. I like that. Yep. This is like the third time I think that we've seen that ultimatum scene redrawn, but it's the first time we've seen it from Jonah's angle, because he's looking at Spider-Man from behind. And
you're right. Others... We do usually see it like Spider-Man's coming towards us.
Yeah. This is Jonah's POV because it's Jonah's memory.
That is a nice touch. So we turn the page. We're now back with the Moraleses. and they're eating dinner, and Aaron gets a text or a call on his phone that he doesn't answer. And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. And we can hear through the door someone saying, "Please, Mr. Davis, we just want to get your side of the story." And reporters reporters barge in from the news, and they say, "Can you confirm that it was you, the amateur footage that we've been running?" Oh my gosh, Zach, I thought somehow this story had gotten out. They tricked us. And she says, "Was it you who faced off against the Hydra militia and saved the lives of a handful of New York citizens? Can you tell us how you came to be in that situation?" And Miles can hear this from the other room. He's like, "Oh my gosh, he did what?" And Jefferson Davis doesn't want any part of this. He's pushing the cameras out of the way. And the cameraman accidentally falls back on poor Genki as he's walking in the door. And Zach, I was just certain we were going to see some hijinks with the web fluid here, like it slip into the camera guy's pocket. I was like, "Oh no."
That would have been good.
Thankfully, none of that stuff happens. At least we don't. If it does, we haven't seen it yet. And the reporters get up, they leave. And Jefferson is like, "I didn't want to tell you guys about it. It's a 24-hour news cycle thing. I just want to be done with it." And Miles is kind of impressed. He thinks to himself, he says, "You fought Hydra," and he thinks to himself and says, "I did too. We have that in common, kind of."
I don't like this. He should already know this. We got the scene where they told Miles as soon as he reconnected with his family.
Yes, I do remember Jefferson coming in or Miles coming in, and Jefferson was upset on the couch, right?
Yes, because we even got Genki saying, "Dude, that's so cool."
Yeah, you're right. The news people, are walking away, and Genki is there, which Miles didn't even see. So Genki knocks on the door, and they think it's the same. It's the people, but it's Genki, and he's here to hang out. And Jefferson puts his coat on. And he's like, I need some air. I'm going for a walk." And he goes down to talk to the reporter and the camera person getting in their car. And he kind of tells her off.
As Genki came into their house, Rio is like, "Genki, now's not really a good time." And he just came in anyways. And I don't think that's the first time he's done that. I don't think Genki picks up on these social cues. He's always popping in during a family discussion or something.
He is. A lot of times he is just I guess that makes sense, because a lot of times I feel like he is with the family, and I'm always like, is Miles' family at the boarding school? It looks like they're at home, but Genki's there. And it is because he's just must always come over.
He must get on her nerves so much. She is always telling him, "Genki, not now." And he is just not picking up on it.
So Jefferson Davis goes down, and he kind of tells the camera person and the reporter off. And she says, "Buddy, listen, all we're trying to do is run a piece about a local man who rose up and acted like a hero. Why are you acting like I just caught you stealing a handful of Slim Jims and he cuts her off and says, "Who told you where I live?" And the cameraman starts to, kind of defend a little bit. He says, "I don't think I appreciate your," and just then all of the characters look up above Jefferson's head and behind him. And it is a huge Venom monster thing standing over them all. I think they're fucked. I don't know how they're going to get out of this one.
They better hope that Spider-Man is right within there. The block. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked this one too. I thought both of them were pretty good.
I also liked this one. It irked me that they repeated the scene of Miles finding out about the terrorist thing.
Yeah, you're right.
But it was offset by a really good J. Jonah Jameson monologue and some like fun characterizing bits for Genki.
Yeah. I'd agree with all of that.
Also,
they really did cram Betty Brant's story into 16.1. She didn't even get an issue. Like, you don't even have to read it.
most people probably didn't.
Yeah. So that's kind of rude. But
I'm telling you, they did her dirty.
yeah, you're right. I think I agree with you now.
Did you feel like Jonah and Robbie were drawn kind of weird in this one?
I thought there was one specific scene of Jonah that I really didn't like. It was the one of him like looking out the window where we just look at him. But that's really the only one.
I realized, I think it's because, so this one was Sarah Pacelli instead of David Martinez. Or David Marquez. And so we've seen Sarah Pacelli draw all of these characters multiple times, except for the newspaper staff. So we haven't seen her version of them yet. And they look very different than David Marquez drew them in 16.1.
Yeah, they do. They do, you're right. Well, now I kind of want to compare. He definitely looks very different from when he was like getting shot in the head by the fake Peters or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, that happened so long ago. I forgot about that.
Well, that's like usually the look when I picture him from the comics and I don't picture J.K. Simmons. That's what I usually picture.
I know you haven't seen Paprika, but he looks like the guy from Paprika here.
I think that he does look better in the last issue.
And this isn't a knock on Sarah Pacelli. She draws all the other characters really good. This is just a stark difference from what we just saw.
Yeah.
For those two particular guys.
So let's see what's our rating system on this one.
How many pieces do you think the Lego Death Star set is?
Oh, that's a good one. 1,500.
Okay. Let's say you said 10,000, so that's a nice round number.
Okay.
All right. So out of 10,000 Lego Death Star pieces, what do you give this?
8,420. Hey.
All right. I'm going to give it 7,067.
Oh. 6,7.
6,7. Yeah.
7,000
right.
and just 67.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
awesome.
that's a number.
Yeah. Awesome. What's next week? What's our Spider-Man next week?
Next week, Ultimate Spider-Man issues 20 and 21.
That's easy to remember. That comes right after 19. This is supposed to be the first time in forever. Great. And we're on the Venom War.
Awesome. Can never get enough Venom, and just like America, can never get enough war.
There you go. Well, what else do we have, Zach? Do we even have any? Do we have any other Spider-Man stuff first?
Oh shoot. Okay, I'm not going to do it for this episode, but moving forward, I had an idea. So while I was in Boston, I picked up a book called The Philosophy of Spider-Man, and it's broken up into like, I don't know, short little conversations or whatever. Didn't know if, kind of like how we used to do the trivia book, do we want to start making a segment where we read that book piece by piece?
That could be fun. I forgot about the trivia book.
I think
Somewhere
this one's going to be...
along the lines, we lost that.
No, we finished it, dude.
Oh, we did?
You made it all the way through, yeah.
Was it my book or was it yours?
It's mine.
My memory's going to hell. Oh, cool. Well, how long are they?
Like paragraph. Couple paragraphs.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
That could be fun to do a different one every episode. I like
and
that idea.
And if we try it and it sucks, then we'll stop doing it.
No, I like it.
Okay.
And if it sucks, we'll do it more.
I almost picked up, because they had other books like that. They had one that was X-Men in philosophy, and I got that. And then they also had one that was like Captain America, and it was about like morality and patriotism and like national identity. And then there was one that was like Batman and Superman. I don't remember what that one had, but it was one of those books where they have to like shoehorn badass into the title because I think they think it'll grab your attention or whatever. But it was just an entire section of like books about the comics from like some kind of social or philosophical or
Where was this?
Was
this just at a bookstore?
It was at a comic shop in Providence.
Cool.
Yeah. And
so they were all like the badass politics of Spider-Man, or like
yes.
All of them had the word badass in them?
No, just the Superman and Batman one.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Batman is badass.
He is. He's absolute.
He is absolute. Yep.
Yeah. I said something the other day to someone. I was like, "Oh, that's so ultimate." And I was like, "Oh my god, you don't even know what that means."
That's really funny.
And because it was something fucked up.
Yeah,
right?
It was something that would be in the Ultimate Comics. No, I know exactly what you mean.
And they probably looked at me like I was a psychopath, and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not saying it's a good thing. Ultimate is neither good nor bad.
It's just ultimate."
Ultimate, yeah, dude.
That's good. Okay, so do you have a first paragraph for us?
No, it's like over on the bookshelf.
Oh yeah,
I'd
you
have
said
to dig
okay.
it out.
We'll start next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Do you have anything?
Not only do I not have any more Spider-Man things, I also got all of my other stuff out of the way at the start.
Okay.
So I'm running on empty here.
Do you have a joke of the week for us?
Okay, I'm not going to use the AI joke that came up when I typed in joke of the week. Screw them. Oh, here's one. I got to look it up. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
Why?
Because they make up everything.
Yeah,
that's
very
good
good
stuff.
Good stuff. I'm going to do a jam of the week, and I'm going to say it's Judge Judy by Tyler, the Creator.
Okay. This is really bringing full circle. Okay, I've got two things here. First thing, the drummer from Foxy Shazam was in the band in 2007, then took a very long hiatus from it until more recent stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So it is possible that he did write that song. And I'm also pretty sure that he did also, because I seem to remember Eric Nally being like this, or the drummer being like, "This is the love song I wrote about my wife." And Mandy and I were each like, we each looked at each other because we were like, "Oh, we hope it's one of the like lovey box of magic songs that we like." And then it just immediately went into like The Only Way to My Heart, which starts out, like very vulgar and everything. So I seem to remember like that situation happening, and it could have happened if he was with the band in 2007 for that year.
Interesting. I guess I didn't recognize him, and I was like, he's a new guy.
Well, he was
Which
only in it for like it was only like 1 year,
Yeah.
So
you're not 2007, that was
wrong.
still very early.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was going to say? You happen to mention Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator, got a shout out in one of the 2 most recent Boys episodes that just came out.
Oh, did he?
He's been arrested, Zach. He's been thrown in a work camp as a starlighter.
Oh, no.
He and Chapel Roan. I hope I didn't spoil too much for you here, but it's just a little side comment.
That's
and then
kind of
you
funny.
happen to mention him again.
He's good. I've been getting into him more.
What was it? What was the song?
Judge Judy.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Long one this week.
Well, it'd been a while.
It had been a while. Thank you all for listening and leaving a review or a comment. You can find us, the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast, on Spotify or Apple Music or anywhere else people listen to podcasts. And you can come chat with us and leave us a comment on Instagram at First Read Podcast. Send us an email at firstreadspidey@gmail.com or find us on YouTube, the First Read Ultimate Spider-Man podcast. See you next week, Zach.
See ya.